Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to jump on real quick to talk about the FICO stock drop and also Google's I/O event and what they're doing with AI. So with that, let's begin. So for FICO, this is a huge stock drop, 15%, and now I think it's in pre-market, it's going down a little bit, under a percent. But the reason that it's dropping so much is for several reasons, honestly. So there's talk of possible changes to the requirement of a mortgage underwriter to determine a borrower's interest rate. So this is huge. Basically, what FICO does is they take the three major credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and makes a determination based on a combination of those three credit bureaus to figure out if a borrower for a mortgage loan is qualified to take out that mortgage. So it really affects the housing market deeply. Change here would be they would change from a merge system to a bi-merge system. It basically means instead of three, they're taking only two. And this is huge for FICO because this will change the volumes that they process in terms of it hits their bottom line, basically top and bottom lines potentially. So that's a huge factor on their stock price. That's affecting their stock price. And also another thing is there have been talks about privatizing Fannie and Freddie. And so if they privatize Fannie and Freddie get their FICO scores, they get their credit scores from FICO, Fair Isaacs. So if they are changing that and they're introducing more competition, they could go to another source or a couple of other businesses for those FICO scores or those credit scores. That would change up their business model a lot. It would really put a dent in their business. So that's why FICO is dropping so much. In addition, bond yields are spiking. So the US 30-year Treasury is at 5.118% right now. And a month ago, it was at 4.6%. This is a huge increase in the bond yield for that bond yield interest rate. And so if interest rates are going up like this, it's going to put so much pressure on borrowing for consumers and businesses. So tack this along with the possible change from the tri-merge to the bi-merge system for Fair Isaacs and their volumes dropping. That's a huge hit. That's why the stock is going down so much. So we got to really see whether this is going to pan out with that legislation and if that becomes, the practice going forward. But yeah, I can see why Fair Isaacs is getting hit so hard. It's like a double or triple whammy with all this news and bond yield spiking as well. So right now it's under pressure, and we got to see if it's a good contender for the public account. So these are a couple of reasons why the stock is hurting, and it's still unclear whether it's a good buy or if it's a buy the dip, or if we should wait for clarity to see if there's any more downside. But I just thought I'd share that couple of sources of why it's dropping. Another thing I want to get into is Google's I/O event and what they're doing with AI. And I think this is super exciting. So Google is doing an amazing job in answering critics and detractors for their stock price and their company. These critics are saying, search is being destroyed. It's going away. It's the majority of their revenue, it is the majority of Google's revenue, but there's no way it's getting destroyed. They are actively adapting and evolving to the changes in the market and the industry. So this was on display. At Google I/O. So there was such a long list of updates and rollouts at Google I/O. I just made a list on my blog, and So just starting from the top, it's, all the Gemini models are upgraded and rolling out. They've introduced, Gemini 2.5 Pro. And what's interesting about this, I think the takeaway from here, the key highlights, is that they're integrating all their AI into their existing just user base and install base of their products, and everybody who's attached to these products, Android, Google Chrome, Google, Gmail, Maps, search, everything is now integrated with AI. So that's an overall arching picture. But the reason that's so important for investors in Google is that it helps offset this entire narrative of Google search being destroyed, even though it's not. I mean, you saw last quarter's results, search grew. Even that's not getting disrupted, but even for the future, it's not getting disrupted either. They're actively adapting and leading at the cutting edge of AI. So just looking at all this, they have AI mode. They introduced AI mode, which you can do prompts and literally paragraphs in search, and you can just switch over to natural prompting AI mode, and it will display, using AI, the most logical and meaningful to the user display of results and answers and to that question or query. So that's just one example. And then they have several other things. They're updating their text to video. They're updating their text to image generation. They have VO2 for paid subscribers, and then VO3 for even higher tier paid subscribers, which is a text to video generation. And it's really good. Like I tried it. I got on Google One and I tried and made a video. It was really amazing. So let me show you the video that I made, and this is completely generated from a prompt I put into, I think this is VO2. This was completely made from just a text prompt that I made. The quality is super high, and it's even a higher quality on VO3, which is a higher tiered subscription, but it's really amazing. It's getting really good. So I think the image generation and video generation is reaching qualities where we can't even tell it's AI anymore in certain circumstances. It's getting very hard to tell. So that is amazing for the film industry, for so many different industries that rely on certain things like that. They can cut costs. These businesses can cut costs based on using Google's, software. And that's all wrapped up into Google's, ecosystem and adding to Google's revenue going forward in the future. And obviously the bottom line, because the margins are super high. So in addition, they're fighting Meta in glasses and Google eyewear and wearables. So they introduced something called Android XR, which is basically, they're partnering with major providers like Warby Parker and Gentle Monster. And what they're doing is, the project is called Project Muhan, and it's going to come out later this year. And basically you could wear these glasses and figure out where to go. It's integrated with Google Maps, so you can find directions and you can just look down on the ground to get an overlaid map on your glasses. It's like next level stuff. They have a Flow, which is a filmmaking tool. It's using the latest image and video generation tools, so Imagen 4 and VO3, and you can make complete scenes and characters. But the most interesting thing that they introduced with this is you can get native audio generation too. So along with the text prompt that generates this video, you can have the text prompt also generate video plus audio. So it's almost like you don't even need to film anymore. You can just write a text prompt and make a complete movie. It's getting to that stage. So it's really going to add value. It's really adding value to Google's already valuable ecosystem and tool base. I think it's going to lead to investors getting a nice return on their Google investments. And there's plenty others, like the whole keynote for Google I/O was, like 3 hours long. So they rolled out so much stuff. This is one of the examples of that they shared of the VO3 with audio generation, and it's let's take a listen to this.
This ocean, it's a force, a wild, untamed might, and she commands your awe with every breaking light. This ocean.
So you can see, like, this is almost near real, and the voice generation is near real life looking, so it's almost real reality. So it's getting to that point, and I think going forward it's just going to get better. And the other thing I wanted to mention is they're really competing now. They're really competing in several aspects with all the other against all the other megatech companies. They're competing against Meta and Apple with their wearables. They're competing in search. They've been competing in search, but they're even more competitive now based on what I've seen at I/O with their AI integrations and what you can do. They're just setting themselves up really nicely for the next few years, and I'm really happy by being a Google shareholder at the moment, and I definitely want to add to my position. But this is not financial advice, but I will be adding to my Google position on dips. So with that, guys, that'll conclude this video, but please like and subscribe down below and comment down below. So let me know what your thoughts are on FICO's stock going down a lot and Google's I/O event. I'm really interested in understanding and learning from you guys and seeing what you guys have to say about it. But until next time, see you guys later.